World War II, lasting from 1939 to 1945, was a global conflict that transformed the political, social, and economic landscapes of the world. It began largely as a result of unresolved issues from World War I and the Treaty of Versailles, which imposed harsh reparations on Germany, leading to economic hardship and resentment among the German people. These conditions allowed for the rise of Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party, who promised to restore Germany's power and pride. Hitler's nationalist ambitions include a desire to expand German territory and assert dominance in Europe. His vision, coupled with alliances with Italy and Japan, set the stage for a devastating conflict involving much of the world. The invasion of Poland by Germany on September 1, 1939, marked the official start of the war. Using a strategy known as Blitzkrieg, or Lightning War, Germany swiftly conquered Poland, employing a coordinated assault with tanks, artillery, and air support to overwhelm Polish defences. In response, Britain and France declared war on Germany, setting the stage for a prolonged conflict in Europe. Following the fall of Poland, Germany directed its military might toward Western Europe, quickly subduing Denmark, Norway, Belgium, the Netherlands, and ultimately France. France's surrender in June 1940 left Britain as the last standing major Allied power in Western Europe. With Britain now isolated, Hitler launched the Battle of Britain, a prolonged aerial bombing campaign aimed at weakening British defences and morale. Despite relentless attacks by the German Luftwaffe, Britain's Royal Air Force, RAF, successfully defended the nation, aided by advances in radar technology and the determination of British pilots. This victory marked Hitler's first major setback and forced him to reconsider his plans for invading Britain. As the conflict in the West stalled, Hitler turned his attention eastward, preparing for an ambitious invasion of the Soviet Union. Meanwhile, in Asia, Japan was expanding its empire with ambitions to dominate East Asia and the Pacific. In 1937, Japan had already invaded China, committing atrocities such as the Nanking Massacre. Tensions with the United States grew as Japan continued its territorial expansion, leading to U.S. economic sanctions. On December 7, 1941, Japan launched a surprise attack on the U.S. naval base at Pearl Harbor in Hawaii, crippling much of the American Pacific Fleet. This attack prompted the United States to join the war, a turning point that transformed the conflict into a truly global war. Shortly after, Germany and Italy declared war on the United States, fully aligning the Axis powers against the Allies. The entry of the United States into the war brought substantial resources, industrial capacity, and manpower to the Allied cause. In North Africa, British and American forces began pushing back German and Italian troops, ultimately securing a key victory at the Battle of El Alamein. This victory paved the way for the Allied invasion of Italy in 1943, leading to the fall of Mussolini's government. Although Italy surrendered, German forces continued to resist in the region, turning Italy into a fierce battleground until the end of the war. In Eastern Europe, Germany's invasion of the Soviet Union, known as Operation Barbarossa, began in June 1941 and quickly became one of the largest military campaigns in history. Initially, German forces made rapid advances, reaching the outskirts of Moscow. However, the harsh Russian winter, logistical challenges, and fierce Soviet resistance stalled the German advance. The Battle of Stalingrad, fought from 1942 to 1943, marked a major turning point on the Eastern Front. Soviet forces, led by General Zhukov, managed to encircle and defeat the German Sixth Army, delivering a crippling blow to Hitler's ambitions in the East and shifting the momentum in favor of the Allies. In Western Europe, the Allies prepared for a large-scale invasion to liberate Nazi-occupied territories. On June 6, 1944, known as D-Day, American, British, Canadian, and other Allied forces launched an amphibious assault on the beaches of Normandy, France. Despite formidable German defenses, the invasion was successful, allowing the Allies to establish a foothold in France. This breakthrough enabled the Allies to push toward Paris, which was liberated by August 1944. From there, the Allied forces continued their advance into Germany. As Allied forces approached from the west and Soviet forces advanced from the east, Germany's defeat seemed imminent. In April 1945, as Allied troops entered Berlin, Adolf Hitler took his own life in his bunker. Germany surrendered unconditionally on May 7, 1945, bringing an end to the war in Europe, a day celebrated as VE Day, Victory in Europe Day. In the Pacific, the war continued as American forces implemented an island-hopping strategy, capturing strategic islands held by Japan and moving closer to the Japanese mainland. The battles for Iwo Jima and Okinawa were particularly brutal, with high casualties on both sides. Facing a potential invasion of Japan that would likely result in massive losses, the United States decided to use a new and devastating weapon, the atomic bomb. On August 6, 1945, the U.S. dropped an atomic bomb on Hiroshima, followed by a second bomb on Nagasaki on August 9th. The bombings caused unprecedented destruction and loss of life, leading Japan to surrender on August 15, 1945, a day known as VJ Day, Victory over Japan Day. World War II caused unparalleled destruction and suffering, with an estimated 70 to 85 million people losing their lives. Cities across Europe and Asia were left in ruins, and millions of people were displaced. The Holocaust, in which 6 million Jews and millions of others were systematically murdered by the Nazis, revealed the depths of human cruelty and led to a global commitment to preventing such atrocities in the future. Politically, World War II reshaped the world order. The United States and the Soviet Union emerged as superpowers, leading to the Cold War, a prolonged period of ideological rivalry between capitalism and communism. This geopolitical tension influenced global alliances, military strategies, and conflicts throughout the latter half of the 20th century. The United Nations was established in 1945 to promote peace, cooperation, and human rights, aiming to prevent future global conflicts. In Europe, the devastation of the war led to efforts to rebuild and prevent further conflict. The Marshall Plan, an American initiative, provided substantial aid to help rebuild Western European economies, laying the groundwork for recovery and the eventual formation of the European Union. Germany, divided into occupation zones controlled by the United States, Britain, France, and the Soviet Union, was later split into East and West Germany, symbolizing the ideological divide of the Cold War. Socially, World War II left a profound impact on society and culture. Women had taken on new roles in the workforce during the war, setting the stage for future movements toward gender equality. The war also led to advancements in technology and medicine, such as radar, jet engines, and antibiotics, which would have lasting impacts on civilian life. The Nuremberg trials, held to prosecute Nazi leaders for war crimes, established important precedents in international law, reinforcing the principle that individuals could be held accountable for crimes against humanity. In Asia, Japan's defeat led to a period of occupation and reform, with the United States overseeing the drafting of a new constitution for Japan that renounced war as a means of resolving disputes. Japan transformed into a pacifist, democratic nation, focusing on economic growth and becoming a global leader in technology and industry. The war also inspired nationalist movements in Asia and Africa, as colonial subjects who had fought for the Allies began to demand independence, fueling the wave of decolonization in the post-war years. World War II remains a pivotal event in human history, shaping the global landscape and highlighting both the capacity for human conflict and the potential for resilience and cooperation. Its legacy endures in the institutions, alliances, and international norms that arose from the destruction, and the lessons of World War II continue to inform the pursuit of peace and stability in the modern world. Subscribe to the channel, like, comment, and share. Thanks.